Good morning, YouTube, and today I'll be profiling for you my Kuriboh deck profile. This is probably the most gimmicky deck in my entire arsenal, but you know what's fun? It's based off of this little dude. Original hand trap before hand traps are cool. The Kuriboh discard, you don't take any battle damage, it's pretty cool. So we run 3 of them to start off our deck profile. Next we run triple of the wing Kuriboh, pretty cool. Whenever he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you don't take any battle damage for the rest of the turn. Always a good feeling. Moving on with our gimmickiness, we have triple Kuriboh. Now this is what actually makes the deck able to do something, in my opinion. 2 effects. First one, at the end of battle phase, if you can discard her, and special summon a monster that was destroyed by battle that turn. That's pretty cool, but the second effect is what's really awesome, in the fact that you can banish her whenever an opponent's monster declares an attack. Special summon all Kuribohs you possibly can from the graveyard. And that's just not limited to her and like wing Kuriboh and like regular Kuriboh. It's anything that has Kuriboh in it. Pretty cool in my opinion. Next we run triple sphere Kuriboh. Now this guy works awesome because we do run over ritual in here. So he can be used as a tribute in grave. Also he has a pretty nice effect that you can use it as an enemy controller to switch battle position of an opponent's monster on attack declaration. We also run triple reliant Kuriboh, which is also pretty cool. He's used if he's tributed, which rituals are used for, you get a draw card. And if you can banish it from a graveyard to make it used as a Return of the Dragon Lord. It's pretty cool. Next we run triple Rainbow Kuriboh because he's awesome in the fact that you can, magic cylinder your opponent, or you can special summon from graveyard on attack declaration. Cool for that. So we run 3. Next we only run 2 clear Kuribohs because it prevents, like its hand effect only prevents you from taking battle damage, or from effect damage rather. But the second effect is really cool in the fact that you can banish it from graveyard upon attack declaration, draw a card. If it's a monster, you can special summon it. So you just essentially get a free draw card. That's pretty awesome. Next we run triple Curry Bandit, who's not actually a Kuriboh, so you can't use it with Reliant Kuriboh, but it's cool because it still fits the design and everything, but it helps you set up your Reliant Kuriboh and potentially get into spell cards, which is what consists of every single one of your back row. So that's cool. Next we run 1 Wing Kuriboh level 9. Now most people don't know what this one does. Most people only know what 10 does if they know it. During other player's turn, as a chain link 3 or higher, you can special summon it, and then it becomes a a Dark Law in the fact for spell cards in your opponent's graveyard. And then it also gains 500 for each spell they control in their graveyard currently. So it's really great late game when your opponent's filled with like upstarts and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. Next we run a Chaos Sorcerer for banishing and a BLS because you run almost an equal amount of lights and darks in here. It's pretty cool. If you win this game, it's probably going to be because you got this guy out. Not going to lie. Next we run double Relinquish because stealing your opponent's monster is pretty cool. And 2 Black Illusion Rituals to go with them. I used to try and run a playset of both, but then I realized that I want to do so much more with this deck, and this deck can do a lot more. Not necessarily better, but it's still nice to have options. So I only run 2 of each. Next we run probably one of my favorite cards on the deck is the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh. It's a quick play, so you can set it and activate it during your opponent's turn. You can activate it during your turn. You can activate it more than once per turn. You get a special summon or add to your hand a Kuriboh or Wing Kuriboh. So you have 6 targets in your deck, so this card's almost always going to be live. It's pretty darn cool. We run triple instant fusions, which we'll get to here in a little bit when we get to our extra deck. Double Arc Hole because you need as much room and damage as possible. With 300 attack monsters on average, it's not that easy to get to go for game. 1 pre-preparation of rights to help us search out a relinquished and spell card. 1 Day of Peace, that's difficult to say. 1 Hand Destruction. Now, I first started off with Allure of Darkness, but then I switched to Hand Destruction because it helps you set up your Reliant Kuriboh rather than banishing them. So I kind of like this. I might bump it up later on. We'll see. And a Foolish Barrel to send your Reliant Kuriboh or anything else you need to set up your graveyard. Pretty darn cool. Moving on to your extra deck. It's kind of hodgepodgey at the current moment because I'm missing a lot of rank 1s, but we'll do what best we can. Since this guy's at 3, we play him at 2. That's kind of a weird thing because Instant Fusion brings this guy instantly. You steal your opponent's monster if it's possible. Then you can normal summon a Kuriboh, go into instant rank 1. It's pretty darn cool. 2 Sea Monster of Theseus, because we run plenty of instant fusions. This can give you an instant rank 6, pretty darn cool. Moving on to the ranks that we do have, we have a Slacker Magician, a playset of Sylvan Princess sprites, pretty cool. I love her in the fact that you get, again, it helps you add to your graveyard and add spells to your hand, which is pretty cool. One Lyra Lucas. Man, it's tough to say. A Symbol Nightingale. Now, the cool part about her is that if you possibly, like, maximum potential, we're talking here, is if you use Kuriboh, bring back 5 monsters, they all happen to survive, you can overlay for her, because she requires 2 or more level 1 monsters. She can attack for each one of her Xyz materials, and she gains 200, I believe, 200 attack for each one of those materials. So that's an instant 500 points of damage, or 5,000, excuse me, points of damage if you get the maximum potential. But she's pretty cool as it is. Lionheart, he's probably one of the best rank 1s that there is out there. That rounds up our Xyz. I mean, I'd like to have like a Dualahan, and there's a few other cool rank 1s, but this is all I have so far. It's just what you see. So, to make up for that, we run a Synchro lineup to go with our Sea Monster Theseus. Brio is probably the one we go for most, because he's a 6 and he's now limited, which is cool. Horse, because it's cool to get those gimmicky effects off on 6 monsters. High Speed Heroic and Dominance is probably what I go for second most. And both of the Black Roses, because, you have the potential to go for 7 or higher. Like, you could even make Trish if you want to. And that is going to wrap up our Kuriboh deck profile. Again, this is more of a gimmicky kind of fun deck. Most of the time when you look up Kuriboh deck profiles, you see ones that focus on getting 10 level Wing Kuriboh level 10 out. I want to try something a little different. This is my own personal take on it. I'd love to hear different opinions. It doesn't have that much of a good win ratio, but when you do pull a win, it's quite sweet in victory, and it's definitely a fun thing, especially if you're trying to get a person into Yu-Gi-Oh! Have fun with it. And so that's what the purpose of the game is. So that's why I built the deck. Thanks. Have a great day.